Let me paint a picture. You're sitting across from her at dinner. Phone down, eye contact. She looks beautiful tonight, the same beautiful she's always looked to you. But somewhere between the appetizer and the main course, you realize you feel completely alone. Not because she's doing anything wrong, not because you don't love her, but because the person sitting across from you feels like a stranger in a familiar chair. And the worst part? She looks like she feels it too. That quiet. That particular, specific quiet that fills a room when two people stop trying to reach each other and just exist in the same space. What's happening in your head right now? You're thinking, why does this keep happening? And do I still love her, or have I just gotten used to her? And maybe, and this one cuts deepest, you're thinking, am I the problem? You're thinking, is this just what long-term relationships feel like? We fight, we calm down, we repeat. And somewhere in there, the most painful thought of all. What if I chose wrong? Here's what no one tells you. She's not avoiding you because she's falling out of love. She's not pulling away because she doesn't care. She's pulling away because she cares too much. And right now, the emotional distance between you feels like the only way she can protect herself from getting hurt. Her withdrawal isn't rejection, it's self-preservation. And once you understand that, everything changes. You are not failing at love. This is not a sign you chose the wrong person. Every couple that has ever built something real has stood exactly where you're standing. And here's the truth that changes everything. The reason she feels so far away isn't that the love faded, it's that the safety did. And that's actually good news, because safety can be rebuilt. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why she pulls back, what your nervous system is doing in these moments that keeps you both stuck, and the specific shifts that create genuine connection again. Let's get into it. Most couples believe that when a partner starts pulling away, it means the relationship is in trouble, that she doesn't love you enough, that you're losing her, that you need to do something, say something, fix something, before the distance becomes permanent. But the real truth is this. Her withdrawal is not a sign that the love is dying. It's a sign that her nervous system has decided the current version of closeness isn't safe enough to stay fully present in. And here's why that's such a critical distinction. When your nervous system reads threat, it doesn't think, it reacts. It sounds the alarm before your mind can catch up. And the same thing happens to her. What looks like indifference is actually overflow. What looks like disinterest is actually a nervous system that has been so overwhelmed for so long that it has learned to protect itself by pulling back. And here's what no one explains. When safety leaves a relationship, the love doesn't disappear. It goes underground. It doesn't leave, it hides. Because the emotional environment has become one where being fully open feels too risky. This is the anxious avoidant cycle. And here's what changes everything about how you see it. You are not opposites. You are two people who want the same thing: connection, closeness, safety, operating from two different protection strategies. Your anxiety is saying, if I don't reach out, I might lose this. Her withdrawal is saying, if I get any closer, I might get hurt. Both of those responses are fear. Both of those responses are love trying to survive in a nervous system that has lost the signal that says, I'm safe here. And here's the reframe that makes you think differently about everything that follows. You don't need to close the distance. You need to rebuild the safety that makes the distance unnecessary. Not through bigger conversations, not through more vulnerability, not through scheduling a weekly check-in, but through becoming a person whose presence in the room makes her nervous system whisper, I'm okay. I can let myself come back. That's where it starts. That's what this video is really about. Most couples do this. When emotional distance starts to build, most people reach for more. More conversations, more reassurance, more let's talk about this, more vulnerability. And it makes perfect sense on the surface. You feel the gap widening and your instinct is to close it. So you reach. Here's what's actually happening beneath the surface. Your nervous system is reading her withdrawal as danger. And when you're in that place of anxiety, the moments when you reach for her are the moments when you're reaching for the version of her that exists when she feels safe. But you're not reaching into a safe space. You're reaching into her overflow. You're approaching a nervous system that is already at capacity. And what her nervous system reads when you reach in that state is not, my partner wants to connect. It's, here comes another moment where I'm going to have to manage his anxiety before I can even check in with my own. So she pulls back. You read that as confirmation that she's pulling away because she doesn't care, which activates your anxiety more, which makes you pursue harder, and the cycle tightens. Here's what it looks like in practice. Most couples get stuck here. You come home, and she's quiet. And your instinct, driven by anxiety, is to start the interrogation. What's wrong? Did I do something? Are you upset with me? We haven't really talked all day. And her nervous system is reading all of that as he needs me to manage his worry before I can have my own experience. So she says, nothing's wrong, I'm fine. Which is her nervous system trying to create a little bit of space. And you hear fine, and your anxiety goes, that's not fine, something's wrong, she doesn't want to talk to me. So you push. You can talk to me, you know. You always say I don't listen, so talk to me. And now her nervous system is trapped. She came home needing 5 minutes to decompress. Instead, she has been handed a relationship emergency she didn't sign up for. Now flip it. Here's the version when safety is present. You come home, she's quiet, and your first instinct, instead of interrogating her, is to just be a person in the room. Maybe you make dinner. Maybe you just sit. Maybe you look up from your phone and say, hey, you okay? You seem a little quiet. And you say it like a person who is genuinely curious, rather than someone who is about to solve a problem. Her nervous system reads that as, he's not trying to fix me, he's just checking in. And she might say, yeah, rough day. Nothing I can't handle, though. And that last phrase, nothing I can't handle, that's her nervous system telling you, I feel safe enough to tell you where I am, and I feel safe enough to handle it on my own. That's the version of her that exists when safety is present. That's the version of you that creates safety. And here's what changes everything. When you can stay regulated in those moments, when you can resist the pull to fix and pursue, something shifts in her nervous system. She stops seeing you as another source of pressure and starts seeing you as someone who can actually hold space for her experience. And when that happens, the distance starts to close. Not because she came back to you, but because the emotional environment changed enough that she felt safe turning toward you on her own. And that shift, that's when your partner stops feeling like a problem to manage and starts feeling like a person to come home to. Most people in relationships see this as incompatibility. You need more closeness. She needs more space. You interpret her withdrawal as proof she doesn't care as much as you do. She interprets your pursuit as proof you're too needy. And on the surface, it looks like you're speaking different languages. But here's the deeper truth. Your nervous system and her nervous system are both doing the exact same thing. They're both trying to protect the relationship. They're both afraid of losing the connection, and they're both reacting to a perceived threat. The problem is that your threat response and her threat response look completely opposite. Your anxiety feels like, if I don't reach out right now, I'm going to lose this. Her withdrawal feels like, if I let myself get any closer, I'm going to get hurt. Both of those responses are coming from the same place, a deep fear that the safety isn't there. And here's what changes everything when you understand this. When you see that her withdrawal is actually protection rather than rejection, you stop interpreting it as something being done to you. And when she stops being the problem you're trying to solve, she starts being the person you can actually be curious about. And that shift in how you see her changes how you show up. And how you show up changes her nervous system's read of you. And that changes everything about what becomes possible between you. She feels you shifting from problem solver to curious partner before you've even said a word. And that moment, that shift, is when the cycle starts to break. Not because you figured out the right thing to say, but because you became someone who doesn't need her to be anything other than what she is. Here's the part no one talks about. The distance and pursue cycle is present in every relationship that has any real emotional depth to it. It is not a sign that your relationship is broken. It is a sign that both of you are human and scared and trying your best. The difference between couples who cycle and couples who move through it is not whether the cycle exists. It's whether both people understand what's happening while it's happening. Most couples go through the cycle unconsciously. She withdraws, you pursue. She withdraws further, you feel rejected. You either snap or shut down, you eventually make up, the distance shrinks for a while, and then the cycle starts again. And every time it happens, it leaves a little scar tissue. Not because the cycle itself is destructive, but because no one knew what they were looking at while it was happening. When you can name the cycle, when you can recognize it mid-loop and think, okay, I'm pursuing and she's withdrawing, and neither of us is wrong, and we're both just scared, the whole dynamic changes. Not because the feelings go away, but because you stop fighting something you don't understand. You start seeing it for what it is. two people who want connection.